right on Immokalee Road, and blah, 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 and one thing leads to another. So a lot of fun, and, carry Kiwanis out there with you.
The number one bullet point on that, working with the president to set realistic goals. Again, your goals, if you don't write them down, if you don't publicize them, if you don't make them part of your day-to-day activities as an officer with the club, it's very easy to meet them. Because your goal might have been one. The downtown club years ago would set an annual goal, and I don't really remember if anybody was around long enough to remember that. But I would use the thermometer type thing, and they had some visual representation for what the goal was. And as the member would be added, you'd see that visual change. So when August rolled around and they still had 3 members, they knew they had to get the 3 members. And guess what? People went out and worked to get those 3 members. And year after year, they would meet their goal for new members, because every week it was in front of people. It wasn't in the president's diary back in his house.
That's a good point. The goals that we set for our long-range planning is written down, but when it's in front of people all the time, in front of your club, and it's like that United Way giving thing that they keep marking out the more money they can. When it's in the goal of membership goal and it's up there in front of everybody, it takes on a different meaning to folks. They look at it and they go, wow, we wanted to have 8 new members this year and we've already got 5. We just need to get 3 more, but we've got 60 days to do it. Let's get out there and do it. So it does work. And it's simple. Just have, it's like one of those big texts you get, when you give to somebody. Official membership count, October the 10th is the important date for Kiwanis International. So Kiwanis International bills each club for the year based on their membership roster as of October the 10th. So review your current membership roster now for those who may be at risk for not renewing. And if you think you have somebody on there that maybe is a quarter behind in their dues or hasn't been showing up to the meetings, reach out to them. And with encouragement, and determine if they're planning to remain members. Just email them, call them, do what you need to do, but find out what the deal is. You want to start dropping inactive and non-paying members now before you get to October the 10th. You don't want to carry all of these unknown folks into October the 11th, being charged by International, and then drop them a week later. That just doesn't make good economic sense. I'm sorry, but I can't read that next line.
Basically what it says is, a reiteration of what we talked about earlier, collect that money ahead of time so you can get the dues paid for all those members by October 10th.
Exactly. Okay, moving right through the screening, we now are going to hear a word from our incoming Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Igo. She's a member of Northside Naples. And Jeanette, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, you got the floor.
Okay, thank you. I hope everybody got a chance to go and attend the VCon or one of the speakers. There was a lot going on in our division, in our district, Florida district. They have a new CKI mentor program that they really are struggling to get some new mentors. I have signed up as a mentor for a CKI. Basically, they're going to assign a young CKI student with someone who has similar goals, similar interests in life. And what they'll do is meet once a month, and of course, they'll report to the mentorship program what's going on. If you're interested, it is on our foundation website. We have 315 members of CKI in the state of Florida, and that's in 24 clubs. So you do the math, that's a lot of students in each one of those clubs. There are speaking of the foundation, we have several grants available. A new one that was just established is for COVID. These are available to members of the club. So please have your team or your whoever's doing that for your club, go on to the foundation website and see what's available for not only students in the schools for scholarships, but there's COVID for a fundraiser. They will, you can either do a match or you can get, I believe, up to $1,000 for a project. So these are kind of like little mini grants, but they're available to all clubs. So please check it out. We have a new website for the foundation. Jerry Getz is our new foundation trustee for our division starting in October. So I think she's actually officially now. Chris isn't online, or I'd ask her, Chris Greenberg. She's done a fabulous job for us this year. For I think 4 years now, she's been amazing. Let's see, what else? Chuck and Amelia, I guess you already announced that they are going to be running again for 21-22 VP. He's running against a good friend of ours, Sam Second. If everybody knows Sam, I think we all do. The governor is having a special event. It's called the Duck Parade. Now, if you received the newsletter from Rebecca, I do the newsletter for our current Lieutenant Governor, Rebecca Randolph. She is on vacation right now, or she would have been here. So please check it out. There is a link available to go on and purchase ducks. This is a fundraiser that he is going to be doing. He's also joined a new committee with Will Bleckman. Alan and Will are leading up a clear mask incentive for all of the caregivers of children. That means school teachers, nurses. They say development of a child is so important at a young age to see a face, and these masks scare these little babies and children. So they are, Kiwanis partnered up with an organization, and we are going to be doing a fundraising with this. They are actually giving them to us to sell, and the money will go to the foundation, and it'll go to providing masks to these people free. So I'm getting on board with that. I'm going to a seminar, and if anybody would like to be online, it's a Zoom meeting. I can forward it to everybody. Let's see what else. God, there was so much going on. I sent out a leadership list of the state of Florida to all the presidents. You should have received that. I sent out an awful lot of mail last week, and I know Deidre did too. Between the two of us, I'm sure you're sick of hearing from me for sure. Did I miss anything? Oh yes, I just got an update from Melanie. We have on our Kiwanis International a website that links to D&O insurance, and it's for all Kiwanis families. So yes, we are covered. And I think that's all. Oh, and that program is called Faces Are Essential. You'll be hearing more about that at the division meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, so that's the Dr. Will one. It's called Faces Are Essential with Al.
Yes.
I suspect that that's because one of the most important when you're a small child is seeing somebody's face and the facial expressions.
Yes.
I guess that's what that's all about. Okay, very good. All right, thank you, Jeanette.
You're welcome.
Okay, above and beyond what we've talked about already, we have a few things to discuss. One of them is youth protection, the branding, Kiwanis branding, and your service leadership program support. So, youth protection guidelines, this falls back to the fact that we all work with children in the community of all ages, from the smallest 1, 2, 3 year.
I think we lost you, Mike.
Youth protection guideline education presentation is required for every club every year. And the presentation can be found on the KI website. It's also good to note that the KI requires background checks at the minimum for all SLP advisors. But it's a good program, I think, maybe for all club members to have a background check by KI. That's because we all involved in a lot of events. It could be a fundraising event or a giving event, but we're all involved in events where kids are there and around. You can have all the, good examples that Deidre and I have. Lee County Sheriff's Department background checks. We have Collier County Schools background check, fingerprint, the whole 9 yards. But those are not good enough for KI. You still have to get a KI background check, and that's handled. You can do that online, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
And,
Mike, let me just
the results, go ahead.
Can I just interject? That is actually mandatory, and if you look at the newsletter, there is a link on the newsletter I sent out from Rebecca.
Okay, very good. And the results of that background check come back to also the club secretary. So, there's not a lot of people that need to know results of background checks other than you're approved by KI, which they will let you know personally also. So yes, so as of February 2020, KI requires the clubs to have a clear criminal history back for any club member serving as an advisor. That's true. Always remember the rule of three. The rule of three is, you have a child, underage child, in your vehicle or home or whatever. The rule of three is that there must be 2 adult Kiwanian members present for the child to be there. You do not want to be in a position where you're there alone.
That's right.
With a child, of course, unless it's your own. But for any event or any activity, when we travel around and do things in the community, it's hard to do, to make sure that you do have 2 Kiwanians in with every vehicle or situation where there's a child. But it's important. It just saves you a lot of grief in the long run. So you have to make sure that you do that. The rule of 3. Does everybody understand that? That's pretty clear. Here's a copy. Sorry, okay, that's fine. Here's a copy of the Youth Protection Guidelines and material on the KI website, so you can see all of the resources and links down to the lower left there in blue about the different subjects that you can click on and be updated with on youth protection. And one of them is a PowerPoint on guidelines. So just open up PowerPoint, you can save it, just open up the PowerPoint and refer to it. And it's very important for the club early in your presidential year and your club year to have the meeting that just talks about youth protection guidelines and best practices when it comes to being around youth. Background checks, here's the key facts. They are KI required, it's $25, typically initiated by the club secretary through the secretary's dashboard, an email sent to the member. SLP advisors automatically are notified by email if they are properly entered into the secretary's dashboard by the club secretary. And that is true, I've already received my email. The secretary is notified by the secretary dashboard when a background check is complete, and the background checks are valid for 2 years, after which time the member should submit for a renewable. And there is a little gray section there about frequently asked questions on the background checks. Go to that link and it'll answer any questions you may have. If you have any members who ask you questions about it, be sure to share with them the information on this page along with the link about where they can find additional information on youth protection. Going into branding, why it's important, your brand, the Kiwanis logo, and things associated with Kiwanis reflects who you are, what you're made of, and what you do. It's how others see you. And when it's done correctly and consistently, it has great benefit. Proudly display your Kiwanis whenever you can through clothing, pins, bumper stickers. The more we get the brand out into the public, the easier it will be to recruit more members and help more kids. I think in our little event that we just had, where we had the TV folks there from NBC-2, what we really, and Jeanette is right, what we really needed was our big Kiwanis banner. So when the TV camera was on the event and or interviewing the president, which they did, for that banner to be in the background would be huge, not for just our club, but for every club in Southwest Florida, for sure, because that's where the TV's covering. It covers Division 19 and it covers Division 22, so that would have been great. We just didn't have access to our banner right then, so we didn't have it.
Mike, I just wanted to say something about the branding and Facebook. The Eye of the Tiger has invited me. That was Jim Rockford's program, and he's invited me to join the Eye of the Tiger team, which I accepted. I was very flattered. Joe Meyer, of course, is very involved in starting new clubs, and one of the things they really put pressure on was getting information put onto Facebook. Facebook is the very leading outlet for everybody. People go to LinkedIn if they're looking for a job or looking for a customer or looking for a business. But if they're looking for something to do, they're on Facebook. So the big push with Kiwanis International and Florida right now is getting yourself out there, branding, whatever you give away. If you give somebody a paper cup, make sure your name's on it. If you give somebody a gift, make sure your name, your club, your phone number's on it. It was one of the biggest stress facts of the entire meeting. That's all, thanks.
Okay, very good. And one other item too, there are a lot of companies in Collier County and Lee County that they require some of their employees to be involved with charities. So the more we can get our name out there and be visible, if that person is watching TV that day or they're out in public that day and they go, oh wow, look, there's a charity, maybe I can just join that club or just inquire. It's an avenue to get a new member. Will they stick around for 40 years or a year? I don't know, but they'll join the club, and if your club is a dynamic club and you have a lot of fun, they may wind up to be a long-term member. So it's important to get out there.
Mike?
Yeah.
Mike?
Yes, John.
I have a question about branding. The biggest issue we have is T-shirts.
Okay.
And what came out last year was that the supplier of the T-shirt has to be recognized by Kiwanis International. There's a fee to be paid per shirt, and I use T-Shirt Express, or have been using T-Shirt Express, but I'm wondering how other clubs are getting around the branding requirements for T-shirts, and if there's a T-shirt supplier locally that we should use.
The short answer is, or let me just give the answer. The answer is, does your supplier that you're using locally use do you provide him the official Kiwanis International logo?
Yes.
Yeah, so personally, I mean, I'm not going to speak for KI or anything else. I don't want to speak against them, but if you're using somebody locally, and certainly somebody that supports your club or your functions or your giving to the community, you're going to use that company just as long as they're using the KI proper logo. You're going to support that guy in your community. You're not going to go off and get a Kiwanis International recognized sponsor kickback. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. Company that they want you to use. It just doesn't, for me, they'll let them slap me on the hands, but for me, I think you support your community company. I don't know, Joe, if you have any other opinion on that, but it just makes sense. Your guy, do you ever go to your guy and say, hey, I want to get some T-shirts, but would you mind donating 10 or 20 for our K-Kids or or our bug program or something like that. And the guy would go, sure, I'll do it for you, but that's why you need to support it.
Yeah, well, I like your answer.
Yeah, I think it just makes common sense. If we're shuffling off to some Kiwanis International supported T-shirt guy that's out of Indiana to get our T-shirts, how's that helping our community folks that help us all the time? So, I don't know, I think we need to lock in on the people that help us, I think.
Kiwanis International has a financial interest clearly in being the middleman between the companies they pick to provide the logos, the T-shirts, the little paper mache dolls, whatever it is that you're interested in. However, the reality is that, and this is a reality, this is not the Kiwanis position, this is Joe, Zach's, and what I'm hearing, the Mike Holmes position, is if it's for your club, it's a local event, and it's a local thing. And very importantly, as John said he is doing, they have the current proper logo that's available online. No harm, no foul. But what you don't want to do is get the local guy, we'd love or gal, we'd love to support and give them an order for 1,000 T-shirts. You don't want to be in competition with the Kiwanis International website where they're trying to sell some T-shirts. So the practical answer, John, is keep it local, keep it the real logo, the one that's current, and you're going to be okay. And I'll come defend you. I'm retired.
Thank you.
That was good. So SLP sponsorship obligations. Everybody knows our SLP clubs. We have K-Kids for the elementary school children. We have Builders Club for middle school. We have Key Club for high school, and CKI for our college level. We also have Action Club for our physically, mentally disabled adults. So support your SLP clubs with funding, leadership, joint participation in activities and meetings, and training. And I think everyone would agree that's involved in an SLP that's on here today. You can't have any more fun than you do when you're involved with your SLP.
Mike, can I make a comment when you're done?
Okay. Kids are just totally refreshing to everything that we do, so it's just a great time. What do you want to say, Jeanette?
Yeah, Mary Lynn Desjardins, our new governor, her big push this year, because we can't be out there and be SLPs in the schools this year, is to push the bug program in the elementaries, because the principal and the teachers do all the work, and the kids are so happy when they get a pin or a badge or anything that says that they are a bug that they earned to bring up grades. So that's a program, and so is Terrific Kids, which Mark does, and I think several schools do.
Very good point. And I think those programs will come up here shortly in the presentation, but that's a good point. So district topics, the Florida district goals. The goals this year for 2021, Mary Lynn Desjardins, her three priorities are increasing membership, building new clubs and boosting existing clubs, and then supporting the bug program, which is the bringing up grades. So what is BUGS? It's an academic achievement program for elementary age children. BUGS gives special recognition to children who have improved their grades no matter the starting point. Many of these children have never received awards, so they still work hard to achieve academically. So it's a very good program. And I know that some of the clubs in Division 22 are active in the BUG program. I don't know, Northside Naples is not currently at this time. We're very involved with Terrific Kids at our elementary school that we support, and K-Kids and Builders Club and Key Club. But perhaps we'll get involved with bringing up grades in a program at Laurel Oak or some other elementary here soon. It does make a difference. The program goals will teach students how to establish and reach the academic goals, to teach students about perseverance, encourage peer mentoring, provide teachers with a method to empower and motivate students to achieve academically and recognize all the students participating in the classroom by the end of the school year. That said, this school year is going to be a little tricky, I'm sure, but hopefully soon we can get back into the schools with our kids on our SLP programs. We just can't right now. I don't think any of the school districts are allowing any outside organizations to come in even at the beginning of this year. So we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. But again, all you really need to do is just go to one event that a K-Kids program is having, or Builders Club, or Key Club, and you'll be energized for serving the community. It's great. Let's talk a little bit about the Florida Foundation. The purpose is dedicated to the support of Florida youth to ensure a brighter future and leave a legacy for the children. The Florida Foundation, the funding opportunities that you can receive from them are scholarships. These are scholarships for college and also other levels, I believe, of scholarship. You can receive many grants. They were over the past years over $500. They're now up to $750 on many grants. You can receive matching grants, which is a up to $10,000 matching grant. You have to make application in June and December. So June 15th, I believe, is the cutoff for the first half of the year. December 15th is the cutoff for the second half of the year for the matching grant. But those are also ways to receive funding from the Florida Foundation. They also have disaster relief and emergency funds, and Jeanette mentioned one earlier with the COVID special grants.
Mike, one other point with the scholarships. If you have a child, any Kiwanis member has a child in college, that you can apply for them to have a scholarship through that foundation. They do not have to be a Key Club student. So that's one of our benefits for people that have children in college.
Also, remember, it can be your grandchild also,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes.
So that's important for us to have many grandchildren.
Yes. How
The
about great
Florida-
grandkids? I got 5 of them.
We got 9.
No, great.
So
These are great.
there you go. Foundation scholarships that are currently available: the J. Walker Field for Key Club students, the George and Annie Langeth Scholarship for anyone in the Kiwanis family, the Chuck and Amelia Galitza CKI Student Scholarship, and Maria Macheniak, I think is how she says the name. It's a Flagler County community specific scholarship, but it's still funded out of the Florida Foundation. The Foundation mini grants are designed for smaller clubs that need funding to put on an event or something like that. Like you need some money and you can't really raise it through your club members or community efforts. You can get a $750 grant per request. They usually give you a quick response. There are no dated deadlines throughout the year. So if your club sees an immediate need in the community and would like to apply for a $750 mini grant, you would go on the Florida Kiwanis Foundation website, which I'm sure the link is in the program here before I get to the end, and make application, state your case, and you'll get a quick reply on it.
It's also in the newsletter.
There are some new criteria, so you have to make sure you read everything on the application. Foundation matching grants, club division grants, guidelines and procedures upon award of a grant application. The application's on the website.